Okay, good tavach everyone. As we are holding by Vanoshim Bechlav HaNezek, which is 6 lines from the top of Tezvav Amud Aleph. 6 lines from the top of Tezvav Amud Aleph, correct? Yeah. We are dedicated by A.B. Spry and family for we lost another 5 chayalim. Yeah, over Shabbos. For the safety of the chayalim and all of Klal Yisrael, and for their nitzachon quickly. And Issachar ben Yuta, we learn for Irving Fishbaum's continued gesund, Issa ben Rezel, Shimon Klein, Lili Nishmas, Asher Anshel ben Yehuda, and Gittel Shimon Pinchas, Lili Nishmas, Avigdor Aryeh ben Rivka, the full Shalema for Avigdor Aryeh ben Rivka's 100 till 120, the full Shalema for Yelad ben Chava, and Meir ben Chaya Sarah. We welcome in Mel Zachter. We're on Daf Tezvav Amud Aleph, 6 lines from the top. Mel Zachter and Saba and Mark Frankel, Irving Fishbaum, A.B. Spry, Stephen Holtzman, Nachman Chapler, Shimon Klein, Rabbi Kranz, Aaron Swade, Michal, Menachem Yemansky, Yitzi Muller, Yehuda from Yerushalayim. We have over here Berish Gesseman, Rabbi Kraus, and Reb Kraus, and Rebellia Yaffe, and Gedalia Engel, and I see Sandy Grunfeld here, Dr. Udell, David Helfgott joining us on Kol Haloshen. Daf Tezvav Amud Aleph at the 2 dots, 6 lines from the top. Tezvav Amud Aleph, 2 dots, 6 lines from the dot. So the pasuk says, "Vanoshim Bechlal HaNezek," and women are also included in damages. Minadi Mili, Am Rabbi Yudah Am Akra. Now we're going to cite 3 psukim. V'chein Tana Debei Rabbi Shmuel Am Akra Isha O Isha Kiyasu Mikol Chata Sa'adam. Any man or woman that does from any of the sins of man, and they're punished. Hishva Kosav Isha Le'ish Lekol Einshim Shabbatayra. The Torah equates men and women that they both get the penalties in the Torah. These are the laws that you should place before them. All the laws of Jewish jurisprudence. And a man or a woman is killed. This is a case of where a man or a woman are put to death by a shar. So, that you're responsible to pay kaifer for an isha as well as an ish. Right? It's talking about, in this case, it's talking about the payment of kaifer, and it's telling us that if an ox kills a man or a woman, that you're chayiv to pay kaifer, in the case of a mu'id, whether it's a man or a woman. As we welcome in Abe Arbach joining us, as the Olam is slow to arrive tonight. So says the Gemara, now we have 3 psukim over here. Now why do we need all 3 psukim? So the Gemara says, utzriche. We need all 3 of these psukim. Diyash min kamaisa, if we would say to equate man and woman for all penalties in the Torah, the Torah had mercy for a woman that she should also get kapara. After all, an einish gives kapara. Ki heichi detavla kapara. Aval dinim, but the laws of dinim, ish debar masa matin in. A man who is normal to engage in business was given all the laws of Jewish jurisprudence. On the other hand, an isha that is not in the halls of business, isha like. V'iyashmin dinin. Well, we have to give her the protection of business rights because sometimes she also has to make a parnasa. Ki eichi d'tava lechiyusa. Aval kapara, but to afford atonement, ish the bar mitzvah in. A man who has the full responsibilities of mitzvahs, there we level punishments. Isha, the labas mitzvah, she doesn't have the full responsibility of mitzvahs, like Biyashmin and Hani Tarte, and if it teaches these two cases, Hacha Mishum Kapara, in order to afford a woman kapara so she gets punishments, Vacha Mishum Chiyusa, and she's afforded the laws of Jewish prudence in order that she could also do business if she has to make a living. Avalinian Katala, but to pay kafir, I might think that the ransom payment is ish the bar mitzvah, a man who has all the mitzvahs, so his value is higher because he has all 613 mitzvahs, even those that are zman grama l'shalem kaifer. Then for taking a man's life, you should pay kaifer. Ishalai, a woman not. V'yashmin and kaifer, yeah, well, kaifer you have to pay for a woman too because he took her life. Mishum dike ibn neshama. Avalhani tarte, but the other two, the leki ibn neshama, where there's no loss of life, aimaloi, I might say it doesn't apply to a woman. So tzricha, we need all three cases. Welcome Marshall, welcome Dr. Guy, and remember for Marshall, it's an hour earlier, so it's a harder thing for him to arrive, so it's good to have you, Marshall. How you feeling, Marshall?
Baruch Hashem, but I was actually on at 1:45 and nobody else was. About 5 minutes I was waiting, so I just shut off, went to do something else, and came back figuring eventually you'd start.
Okay.
I was here.
Okay, good cheshbon. You lost 20 lines of learning, but good cheshbon. Keep up the good. Keep up the good cheshbonis. With those kind of cheshbonis, you're not going to sell many cars. Says the Gemara.
He doesn't sell cars.
No, he doesn't sell cars. It's
a good thing, right?
He just messes them up. Anyway, Marshall, it's good to see you with all your.
Catalytic converter.
It's good to see you, Marshall, with your Talmudic economics. Make sure to make up. Go to YouTube and make up what you miss. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'akol niyeh b'dvaro. Okay, we welcome in also Karl Markowitz joining us now, and for Marshall we are at the two dots. Let me tell Marshall how much he missed with his economics. 26 lines from the top at the two dots. Hanizik v'amazik b'tashlumim. That there is a time that the victim and the damager shares in the payment. Itmar. Now here we have a famous machlokes. We know that if it's an unusual damage, like if the animal gores or the animal bites, so there the din is a tam, that's the first two times, he only pays a chatzi nezek. The payment of chatzi nezek is that mamoina. In other words, is it due to the victim, or is it really a knas? It's only a penalty. Really, he shouldn't have to pay. So, says the Gemara, let's see it inside. Itmar, palganiska, the damages of half of chatzi nezek that's paid when an axe gores or bites or kicks. Rapapa says it's monetary. Ravuna Brei Rabbi Yeshua Maknos, it's a penalty. And now the Gemara explains. Rapapa Mamaina, it's monetary. Kasavar Stam Shvarim Lav Bechesker Shimur Kaim. Most Shvarim are not docile. It's not true that they won't hurt you unless you start up with them. And Marshall should pay the whole thing because he didn't watch his ox. However, somebody has to. So the Rabbeinu Shalom has mercy on Marshall. since it's not a three-timer, so we extend mercy to the mazik and make him only pay half. Rav Huna bar Yeshua no. Marshall says, what do you want? My axe, he's a bubbler. Not going to hurt anybody. Knasa. Rav Huna bar Yeshua says it's a penalty. Why? Because stam shvarim b'chesker shimer kaimi. Most shvarim are considered watched. They're not going to start up with you unless you start up with them. Ubdinu d'loi l'shalem klal. Really, Marshall shouldn't pay anything. So why does he pay a chatzi nezek? Rachmanahu de can't say the Torah gave him a penalty. Ki heichi delintale the Torah. He should go above and beyond, and make sure that the axe is not going to hurt somebody. You have to do your extra to protect people. So now the Gemara says, Tnan hanizik v'mazik b'tashlumin. The Mishnah says hanizik v'mazik b'tashlumin. Now, who did Marshall damage over here? Marshall damaged Stephen. Not Stephen, but Marshall's axe damaged Stephen's axe. So we say that both Marshall and Stephen share the payment. So really, Stephen should get the whole thing. But since the Torah has mercy on Marshall, so Stephen shares in the payment because he only gets paid half. So because really Stephen should have gotten the whole thing, but he only gets half, so he shares in the damages. And that really Marshall shouldn't pay a dime. Then hashta dolavdi deishakel. If Stephen gets even what is not due to him, b'tashlum, and he say he's not sharing any of the payment, says the Gemara, oh no, that's talking about something else. It's talking about the deterioration of the carcass. So the deterioration of the carcass, we say that Stephen has to absorb. So from the deterioration of this carcass, from the time of the damage till the time of the Amod B'Din, the court case, Stephen has to absorb. So he's, so to speak, shouldering part of the damage. It says that already in the first part of the Mishnah. Remember we said Tashlumei Nezek, to make up the damage. So the fact that it says to make it up, meaning he doesn't pay the full amount, that it's Stephen who has to trouble himself with the nevela, either that he's responsible for the deterioration or that he's responsible for hoisting up the animal. Says the Gemara, choda b'tam v'choda b'muad. One is by a tam and one is by a muad, the tzricha. Diash minon tam, that it's upon Stephen to absorb the pras nevela. That makes sense, because the shor was not yet warned. It's not a three-timer. Aval muad, but where it's a three-timer, we should throw the book at Marshall and make him pay even for the deterioration of the carcass. V'yashmina muad, listen, we don't put the carcass on Marshall because he's already paying nezek shalom. Mishum dekam misham kule. Aval tam, but a tam where he doesn't pay, he only pays a chatzi nezek. Maybe we should give him the responsibility. Tzricha that we don't. So now, as we are holding 5 lines from the bottom of Daf Tezvav Amud Aleph, just getting underway on a beautiful Matzah Shabbos. Remember, what better way could there be to start a week than to learn Torah? I mean, Abisteiners are welcome. There's absolutely no better way to start a week. Then you know you're starting your week off in the right way. That's right. So we're going to try to determine if it's Palganiska Mamaina or Palganiska Knasa. So the Gemara says, Ma bein tam l'muad. What's the difference between a tam and a muad? Shatam, if Marshall's axe, it's his first or second time, Mishalim Katzi Nezek, he only pays a half damages, and it's only Migufay. It's only from the body of the shor. You can't collect from Marshall's other property. Or muad, But if it's a mu'ad, that means it's a 3-timer. Mishalim nezik shalom in aliyah. But 1 second. If you're going to say that chatzi nezik is a knas, there's another difference. That if Marshall admits he doesn't pay, because Maida B'Knas is pater. V'im Isa lisnei nami ha. This is another difference. The tam ain't a mishalom al piatzmai. If Marshall admits that his shar Gord Stephen Shar is pater, while Muad, which is not a knas anymore, mishalom al piatzmai. So the Gemara says you're right. It could have said that, but ton of a shai. It's not an exhaustive list. It leaves something else out. So the Gemara says we don't sacrifice an exhaustive list unless we leave at least 2 things out. So what else does it leave out? My shire, the high shire. What else did it leave out that it leaves out this? Shire chatzi kaifer. That if a mu'id kills a human, the owner pays ransom. But if a tam kills a human, it doesn't even pay chatzi kaifer. Says Gemara, imishum chatzi kaifer lav shiuruhu. It's not a shiura. Hamani Rabbi Yossi Aglili, who says no, a tam does pay chatzi kaifer. Tam mishalem chatzi kaifer, and therefore that would be included in tam paying a chatzi nezik while a mu'ad paying a nezik shalom. So therefore, the Gemara says that it would seem to be that this would be a proof that since we don't have a second thing that it left out, this seems to be a proof that chatzi nezik is mammon. Because if it's not mammon, then it should have said that difference of Maida B'Knas. So Tajma, the Gemara brings another raya. As we turn, it's nice to turn in 17 minutes. Marshall's 13 minutes. It's nice to turn page already.
Rabbi,
Yes.
isn't there a machlokas as far as Moab? Is it 3 times in a day, 3 times in a week?
We're going to have a whole sugya about Mu'ad. We're not up to that yet. We're going to learn all about it. There's also machlokes whether it's 2 times or 3 times. So we're gonna learn all about that.
Rabbi, also, I'm getting the feeling that the Gemara is implying that the ox knows what it's doing, that he's doing it on purpose or he's doing it on accident. Am I correct, or?
The ox knows what he's doing. Yes.
No.
Yes.
If he does it on purpose or accident?
It's this Karen is a premeditated action.
I have another question on that subject. Why do the Chacham make knas? The owner, you can take out an animal, shoes or rob him. You got to make sure the guy is trained. If he's an ox, somebody just gives a look the wrong way or kills somebody, you're not supposed to take out the shoes or rob him. It's just driving a car. You drive a car. If you hit somebody you were drunk once, second time they take away your license from you. Same thing with oxen. You got to have it trained. If it's a wild ox, you don't take Mishas Rabbin. I don't know why they didn't mention a rule.
Well, okay, so it seems to be from this Gemara.
I don't care if the ox knows what, but the owner's responsible.
It seems to be from this Gemara that the Gemara is questioning whether a regular ox is considered dangerous to take into the Rosh Hashanah. So, Saba's not a farmer, so he doesn't know.
I know about oxes. I was a kid raised by the livestock.
I believe it's a Chicago ox.
I was raised with animals.
Again, so that's the machlokes. The Mandi Yama that holds Pal Gediskim Amayna is saying like Saba, that if you want to take out your axe, you got to guard it, and if you don't, you're going to be chayiv. And really, you should be chayiv the whole thing, but chos rachman alei. That's like Saba. The Mandi Yama that says Pal Gediskim Knasa says if people stay away from the axe won't chepper with them.
But you can't say to a child, go teach a child to stay away. You can't. The owner is responsible to see that. That's it.
No.
Yeah.
No, if your child goes and shephers a dog, the owner of the dog is not chayiv.
The dog is also responsible. He's supposed to watch the dog, doesn't he?
No, you cannot shepherd.
You gotta have him on a leash. Make sure that he doesn't go up to anybody.
Right. But if a child goes with a dog on a leash and shephers it, the owner is not going to be chayiv. You can't shepherd an ox. Anyway, we're arguing about Metzias. The Gemara questions whether the Metzias is like Saba or not. That's the machlokes.
And also, if it kills, the first time it kills, it's going to be stoned. It's going to be.
That's correct. That's
you don't even have to wait till 3
That's correct, but we're not.
Talking about Hedzik.
My question to us.
That's we're not talking about killing. If it kills, it's going to be put to death. That's correct.
Well, what is it if it's second time or third time? What they mention it there?
The second time also, you're not responsible. The third time, you pay a nezek shalom. That's according to everyone.
Good thing I was not there. I would be a guy and I would do a little different.
Okay.
Right? All right.
Thank God for little favors.
Okay, now, says the Gemara Vaita.
Hey, guys.
Now, Tajma, Hey Mishairi es Pliny, my axe killed somebody, Oishairi shel Pliny, Harizem Mishalem al Piatzma. So here a person says, if his axe killed someone, or the shar of someone, he pays al Piatzma. My lav betam, isn't this talking about a tam? And it's going according to the Man Yama that says a tam pays chatzi koifer, and it says that he pays a chatzi nezek al piatzmai. So my lab betam, then that shows that chatzi nezek is mamayna. Loi b'mu'it. It's talking about a mu'it. Aval tamai, but what's the din if it would be a tam? Hachanami deim mishalm al piatzmai, because it's a knas. Ihachi adetoni seifa hey mishayri es avdoi shel pliny. If my axe killed someone's servant, now that's definitely a knas because it plays shloishim, no matter what the damage is. Hey mishalm al piatzmai. But if the din is that by a tam you don't pay al piatzmai, so then why did it have to go to another case of an Eved? Lift like velisne bedidei, make the difference by a regular axe killing an axe or human. So the Gemara says yes, it could have said that, but kula b'mu'it kamari. It wanted to talk all of a case of a mura. Tajma. So now the Gemara brings another case. Somebody's phone is ringing. Oh, it's mine. Okay. Tajma. Mine. Zakla. This is the general principle. Kala mishalem yoiser al masha hizik. Whoever pays more than they damaged. Now, when you pay more, that shows it's a knas. Then ain't a mishalem al piatzma. My love, doesn't that imply hapachis memasha hizik? If it's less, then mishalem, even though it's a chatzi nezik of a tam, you still pay, which shows that chatzi nezik is mamayna, not knasa. Says Merloi, that's not the correct deduction. Hakamasha hizik mishalem. Only if you pay the actual damage, then it's mamayna. Avol pachas mai, but if it's less, hakanami delay mishalem. So then the Gemara asks, so then it should have worded it differently. Ihachi aditani zaklal kol mishalem yoiser al mashizik. Whoever pays more than what they damage, it should say whoever pays what they damage. Listen, whoever doesn't pay like you damage is not going to pay al piatzmai, because whether it's more or whether it's less, it's a knas. the mashma pachas, the mashma yoiser. So tiyufta, that's a refutation on the mandiyama that says palganiska is knasa, because otherwise it should have said that you pay only when it is what you damage. However, the hilchas palganiska knasa. The halacha is that half damages is a knas. Says Gemara, but you just refuted it. Tiyufta v'hilchasa? Yes, it is. It is the halacha, and it's not a refutation. You know why it doesn't say that if it's not the value, it's a knas? Because there is one case where it's less that it's not a knas, and that's where a chicken steps on pebbles or hops on pebbles, and the pebble shoots out and breaks your window, where we say it's a chatzi nezek tzroiris, and there it's halach l'maish misinai that it's mamayna. In time am I have it tiyufta. Why did you want to have a refutation? Mishum d'loy ketani k'moish hizek. It didn't say that it's you only pay upon your own admission when it's equal to what you damage. Like psikale, couldn't say that. Kaven ika, there is a case where it's less that it's also mamayna. Kaven ika chatzi nezek tzroiris, the case where a chicken is walking or hopping and a pebble goes out from under its foot and breaks the window, then you pay chatzi nezek. There, the hilchas gemira law, that's halach l'maish mishnai demamaynahu, that's money and not knas. Mishamachi like ketan. Says the Gemara, now we're going to get down to the bottom line. The bottom line is that chatzi nezek that Marshall has to pay is a knas. Once it's a knas, then no dayanim could collect it in Bava. Even if Saba was a dayan, he wouldn't be able to collect it. Because in Bavel, the dayanim don't have smicha. And without smicha, you can't collect the knas. And that's what the Gemara says, V'hashta da'amri palganiska knasa. Now that we say chatzi nezek is a penalty, hai kalba da'achal imre. If a dog eats a sheep, now it's not normal for a dog to eat a sheep. So since it's not normal, that's keren, that's mishuna. And since it's mishuna, chatzi nezek, it's a knas. V'shunra da'achla tarnagayla, or a cat that eats a chicken, mishunahu, and therefore it's chatzi nezek, and v'lay magvinam b'bavel. You can't collect it in Bavel. But v'hani mili b'ravrave, that's only a big sheep and big chicken. Aval b'sutrei urchu, it's normal, and that's the nezek of Shane, and that is mamayna, and that you could collect. Now, even though it's a knas, the toughest loy makpinon minay. If the one that was damaged grabs the payment, we don't take it away from him. The Amr, and furthermore, if he tells the mazik, kovoli zimna, let's make time, does lilna the Yisrael, let's take time to go to court in Eretz Yisrael to a dayan smuchen, kavinolay, and we fix it. Obviously, it's talking about where it's a very, very big damage that it warrants the trip. The Eloi Ozel, and then if the mazik, if Marshall doesn't go, mishamtinolay, we put him in chayrim. Why is everybody looking? Says the Gemara, ubenkach, and either way, this makes sense, and either way, mishamtinolay, and either way we excommunicate him, ad misalik hezeka, until he gets rid of the menace that he has. If he has a wild dog or a wild cat, and he doesn't get rid of it, then we put him in excommunication with the Rab Nosson. The Tani Rab Nosson, I'm nine you got to let him kelev rab b'seik. How do you know that you're not allowed to raise a wild dog in your house? And v'al yamet sulam ru'ua b'seik. You can't have a rickety ladder that's not safe in your house. You shouldn't have blood in your home. It's considered that you have blood on your conscience, blood on your hands, if you leave something dangerous in your home. Rav Miller was very big about this. For example, Rav Miller would say that a family that has babies running around the house, little children, and they don't have child-proof caps on their medicine, they're acting with negligent homicide. Same thing Rav Miller would say. I remember there was a case. I remember it clearly that there was a child that fell out of a window in a school and died. And they wanted to make a kinnis l'tshuva. And Rav Miller says, don't make a kinnis l'tshuva. Tell that school to put window guards on every one of their windows. I mean, this is loisasim damim b'beisecha.
That's a tragedy of finding blood like that.
And the same thing is true with, Rav Miller would say that you have the outlets with little children. You should put guards on the outlets. They go with a fork into the outlets and they get a shock. Right? So he would say that this is all loisasim damim b'beisecha. He was very, if you remember that tragedy of that hat plate that went on fire and it burnt down the whole family. When it comes, my first Rebbetzin, Mim Libby, was very makbid to get Cornell Hospital put out fire regulations for Hanukkah, because Cornell has the biggest burn unit, and it's always full with Yidden. So I remember my Rebbetzin got it in English and in Yiddish, and I would give it out, because people, they're not fire conscious. Like Saba was in the garage tonight, and he saw the warmer, and I was distressed as well. I saw the warmer, and it was very near cardboard boxes. If I would have known it, I would have never allowed that. It's not safe. It should have been moved much further away from the cardboard boxes. People put menorahs, a whole line. They have 10 children. There's a whole line of menorahs right next to the drapes, and they leave the house. It's really frightening. People have to have.
It's a song that will light inside, they light outside.
Okay, we don't do that, but you have to have fire safety. People bring their big candelabras to the bungalow colonies, and they light with their big candelabras, and it's only less than a foot away from the ceiling of the bungalow. And there has to be, and this is all included in loisasim damim b'beisecha. Says the Mishnah, chamisha tamim v'chamisha mu'adin. There's 5 tamin, which only pays the chatzi nezek, and 5 mu'adin. Habehema eina mu'edes. It's not right away considered warned. It's not right away considered likely. Loy ligach, not to gore. V'loy ligach, not to butt. V'loy lishoich, not to bite. V'loy lirvayt, not to lie upon someone. V'loy livayt, and not to kick. Hashem mu'edes lechel esarayla, but an animal is considered inclined to eat the food that is fit for it. Harego mu'edes lishbar b'derech hilucha, and a shar is expected to damage in the course of its walking. It's not going to walk around your item. It's not going to walk around your foot. V'shar hamuid, and then there's a shar hamuid, that's a worn shar, which is a 3-timer. V'shar hamazik v'rshus hanizik, that also pays a nezik shalom right away, because what's he doing? What's Marshal Shar doing in Stephen's place? V'adam, an adam is a muad la'ilam. Hazev, a wolf. Ari, a lion. V'adayv, a bear. V'anomer, a leopard. V'bardalis. Now we're going to see that bardalis is open to a lot of speculation. The more common translation of a bardalis is a cheetah, which is also in the cat family. There is one opinion that it's a hyena. There's another completely different opinion that it's a viper. Vanochish. Hariela muad. These are considered warned and they're responsible right away. Rebbe Lazar, I'm a bizman sheheim b'nei tarbis. If they're domesticated, it's a domesticated bear. It's a pet. Eina muadim. They're not considered automatically dangerous. Vanochish muad loylam. But Rebbe Lazar agrees that you cannot domesticate a snake. Now, the Gemara now is going to take us on a little bit of a. Dr. Yudel is asking, what's a knas? A knas is a penalty. Now, the Gemara now tells us, Midiktoni Hashein mu'edes lechol. Now remember, Shein is not chayiv in the Rishus Harab. Shein is chayiv in the Rishus HaNizik, right? It says, Ubier b'stei acher. So Midiktoni Hashein mu'edes lechol michlal de b'chotzer HaNizik askina. That means it's talking about, Ilam has to mute themselves. Hold on. Okay. Now, Michlal, since it says that you're chayav for Shein, so that means that we're talking about it's in Stephen's property. Ukitani behema enema edis l'shalem kulei, that if Marshall's ox bites someone in Stephen's property, bites something, doesn't pay all, aval chatzi nezek mishalemes, but he pays half damages. So that means that even in the Rishus HaNezek, a tam only pays chatzi nezek. Mani, who is this going? Like Rabbanan Hidam, a Mishuna Karen b'chotzer HaNezek, even unusual Karen on the property of the victim, chatzi nezek with the mishalim. But aim is safe for shor amuad b'shor amazik b'Rishus HaNezek v'odam. That means that Marshall's shor in the Rishus HaNezek is considered a muad right away because it's in Stephen's property. That's also Reb Tarfon Dama Mishum Neker Mechatzer Nizik Shalom the Mishalim. So that's a steer in the Mishnah. Reish Rabbanan the Sefer Reb Tarfon. The Reish is like the Rabbanan. The Sefer is like Reb Tarfon. Says in Dama Shmuel Rav Yehuda. Shmuel said to Reb Yehuda, Shinina, sharp one. Shmoik Masnisim the Ta'abas. Right? Stop trying to reconcile the Mishnah and follow me. Reish Rabbanan v'Sefer Reb Tarfon. Reish is the Rabbanan that holds that Mishuna Karen b'Chotzer HaNizik pays a Chatzi Nezek, and the Sefer is Reb Tarfon. Rabbi Elazar Mishmei de Rav Amar. Rabbi Elazar says in the name of Rav, as we are after 36 minutes already starting Daf Tez Zayin, says the Gemara, Kula Rabbi Tarfon he. Oh, mamish perfect timing. Oh, thank you very much. I made a bracha, but this is Chamam Matzah Shabbos Malugma. I want to tell the Eilam that after Matzah Shabbos, I had a very strong headache. And I was wondering how I'm even going to be able to say shir. And it's getting better. It's mamish a fulfillment of the Gemara of Chosh B'Roisha Yasik B'Torah. If you have a headache, and it's of course the schus of the Gansa Eilam. So says the Gemara, another way to reconcile the Mishnah, Rabbi Elazar Mishmei de Rav Amar Kula Reb Tarfon. It's all going according to Reb Tarfon. Reisha b'chotzer amiyuchedes lepeiris le'echad mehem. Here, it's where the chotzer is exclusively Stephen's for keeping fruit. Ulezev l'shvar. But they both have the right, both Marshall and Stephen have the right to keep their oxen there. So the Legabe Shane, when it comes to Shane, it's Rishus HaNizik, it's Stephen's property, because he only has the right to keep his fruit there. Havi Lechatzer HaNizik. Or Legabe Karen, since they both have the right to keep their oxen, it's a Rishus HaRabim. Havi Rishus HaRabim, and therefore it's a tam pays a Chatzi Nezik. In the Sefer, it's talking about where it was not, Marshall did not have a right to keep his oxen there, and therefore, even though it's Meshuna, but Meshuna Karen B'Chatzer HaNizik pays a Nezik Shalom. We're just going to change the channel. Give me